Right, let's get into Tony Blair then. What do you make of his £5 million gift, or promise of £5 million to the Royal British Legion? That's right, the former PM has vowed to donate the proceeds from his forthcoming memoirs. Again, the title... Anyway, he's going to give it to a charity that helps former servicemen and women. Blood money is how the Daily Express has put it. I'm wondering if the paper's hit the nail on the head there. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a novel way of selling books. I mean, are you going to be more or less likely to blow £25 of your hard-earned cash on a copy of, what's it called again? Now you know that Tony Blair won't make anything from it himself. Though he does, of course, or did, trouser £1 million from the UI Energy Corporation, which now owns one of the oil fields that he helped liberate from Saddam Hussein. Blair's decision to wage an illegal war against Iraq cost the lives of 179 British soldiers. Heaven knows how many Iraqi civilians, 100,000, 110,000. Peter Brearley, whose son Lance Corporal Sean Brearley was killed in Iraq, agrees with the Express that Blair's offer is blood money. This gift, he says, doesn't alter my aim that we'll one day see Tony Blair in court for the crimes he committed. Not surprisingly, the Royal British Legion's delighted by Blair's very generous offer, but after pocketing an estimated, £20 million, 20 million socialist pounds, I should say, since leaving Downing Street, Blair can afford to be generous, and who knows, maybe he'll now sleep even easier at night. He could have given the money anonymously, but that wouldn't have given the book any publicity. He could have given it to a range of different charities, but no, he did it all for the soldiers. So will his gift encourage more people to buy the book, the name of which I just can't recall knitting? No, do you think this is
I know the name of the book. Harry Potter and the WMD that never was. You know what? I would cut to the chase and suggest that nobody buys the book, and if they want to spend £25, give it to the Legion. I cut to the chase. I was going to just suggest that as a punchline, but actually...
What do you read into his decision?
I read it as another spin. I think he... I mean... If I was to... I think he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Whatever he does, it's going to be criticised. But fair, I just think... I think he's put himself in that position. So in the meantime, you just take the money, take the money, take the money? I think it's a very, very weak gesture. It looks to people who have fought in this war and still don't understand why they're there and fighting. It does look like blood money. I don't think it's to ease his conscience. I think it's a spin on his book to sell his book, more or less. And I think the way around it is that... if you want to donate money, just don't buy the book.
OK.
I really believe it shouldn't be bought.
Skim?
I'm kind of, like, on the fence a bit with this one. I mean,
I'm surprised.
No, because my dad was in the army, so it's kind of like... I can understand that's a very good place to put your money, but I kind of have to say I agree with Nitin there. It's... If you're going to give... You know, but using this kind of roundabout way to do it, I think, is slightly suspect, you know. But at the same time, it's kind of like when people do give huge sums of money, they get such a backlash about it. You know, there's the billionaires who've given, like, half of all their earnings, and the backlash that they've had about that is ridiculous. So I think charity is good. I think
charity is good.
I think this is... It smells a bit wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells a bit wrong.
I've been thinking... all this morning, who else he could have chosen to benefit. And you think, you know, you could have done Cancer Research UK, you could have spread it across a range of different charities, you could have done it anonymously, as I said, but that really wouldn't help you sell any books. Yeah. Which...
I mean, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he? He's getting huge headlines because of this. I mean, he's a very well-practised politician. So I think it does smell a bit, but it's a bit of a shame, because I think...
because the money's helpful? Because
the money is very helpful, and I would never like to kind of take that away from them. You know, I think it's a good cause.
Although Nitin's solution is quite neat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just send £25 to the Royal British Legion and don't bother buying...
I think the book will be a bestseller, though.
Oh, I'm sure it will be, but just because something's popular doesn't make it right.
Yeah, but
Nazism always comes to mind on that score, and
also,
the X Factor.
Also, unless you walk in someone's shoes, and you hate the X Factor, I know. Unless you walk in someone's shoes, you don't really know what their motivation is. It could, you know, I'm not...
Well, hang on. Okay. He's a Labour Prime Minister. Labour used to stand for socialism, which is about equality. It isn't about earning 3 houses worth millions of pounds each, making £20 million after
I couldn't believe that.
He can earn what he earns now that he's not leader, and you know, he can earn as much as he likes. That's not really the point. I think The point is using, as you said, the publicity of his book and using this to kind of get publicity of the book. That's the point. You know, is it heartfelt or is it just
I think his motivation is geared by guilt, maybe.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's a man that feels guilty. I can't read the mind. I can't read his mind.
Ultimately, I don't think we, you know, spending all this time talking about Tony Blair, what happened was wrong. But ultimately, I think at least something positive is going to come out of it, that people from the Royal British Legion will get... No, I'm not... Listen, I'm forgetting about where the money is.
Millions of people have died. There's been this WMD 45-minute scam that he hasn't been pushed on.
Do you think he should not give the money?
Well, give the money.
No, but do you think he should not...
I'm just suggesting that it's a publicity spin to sell his book.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm saying, should he not give the money then? Do you think
he can do what he wants with the money?
But that's what I'm saying. At least he's giving the money.
He could give the money after the book comes out and is sold.
Give the money and not admit it.
Give the money quietly.
Quietly. I think that would have been the classy thing to do.
Someone would say, if they got a big cheque, if an organisation gets a big lump sum of money, don't they have to say where the money's come from?
Well, you know what? I'm not saying don't give the money to the Legion. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying yes, absolutely, charity's good. Go ahead, Tony, give it. But I just resent the fact that I still am suspicious that it's another self-agenda, self-promoting kind of spin on making more money.
But it probably is.
And making himself likeable with the general public again.
But it probably is.
And it's not going to work. I hope it doesn't work. I hope he doesn't become... Look how nice he is now. When you kind of go, do you know what's happened?
OK. Let's throw it open to you. Is Blair doing the right thing? Kirsty.
OK, first we have Bobby and she's on line 1.
Morning, Bobby.
Good morning to you.
Is he doing the right thing here?
Well, I hope it works for him. I really do.
Why? Why?
Well, because he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. You know,
hang on, but just before we worry about whether he's damned or not, because that'll be decided by a higher person than either of us, or a higher being than either of us, you know, I can't help thinking that while he's cruising around the world, getting £1 million for selling or helping to get an oil field from Iraq into the hands of the Koreans, while he's doing all these sort of, you know, interesting works, there are people out there in Iraq who've lost their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, hideously wounded. There's places in Iraq still which aren't safe to go. The American troops are withdrawn. It's a nervous country in chaos. And he's selling a book at £25 a copy. And I'm just not sure if it just feels a little uncomfortable for me.
Well, all the troops are out there. They're out there because they're doing the job.
No, they're out there because he sent them in an illegal war. And they do their job. They do their job without complaint because they believe in the army and they believe in serving their country. OK? Yeah. And they're political masters. That's why they're there. They didn't go there out of choice.
But they know when they sign up that they might be going to war.
Well, historically, we haven't had an unprovoked attack on another country for hundreds of years. Tony Blair was the first to do it.
Well, what about the Falklands?
But they were invaded by the Argentinians. That was the first move, and then we went and liberated them.
Well, my friend, her husband was killed in the Falklands.
Yeah, but, Bobby, I'm just saying that Tony Blair's decision to send troops into Iraq was an unprovoked attack. The Falklands was a provoked attack. There's a distinct difference. And when you signed up for the British Army, if you look back over hundreds of years of illustrious service, the British Army responds to attacks on its territory and on its citizens around the world. And what Tony Blair did was attack a country that wasn't pointing anything at us, despite his claims of invisible weapons of mass destruction. So it was an unprovoked attack.
Well, what about the bombings in London?
Well, what have they got to do with Saddam Hussein?
Well, there's all sorts of things going on.
Well, there might be, but none of them had anything to do with Iraq. That's the problem. Thanks, Bobby. Anyway, let's go to our audience.
OK, next will be Steve. So, Blair's gesture, blood money?
Yeah, it is. I used to be a charity advisor for high net worth individuals, and I would have told him not to do it in that style.
OK,
I would have said to him, give £5 million from your personal bank account into different charities, leave the book, because it will look like this, so it would have been a bad move. But more importantly, as Nitin said, if you all give the £25 to charity, you can gift aid it and uplift it by £6 to the charity. So it's actually better for you to do that than to buy a book.
So high net worth individuals, so what would your advice have been to Tony Blair if he said, look, I'm doing this book, lots of people are going to throw stones at me, particularly that right bloke on Channel 5, He hates my guts for doing an illegal war and then making loads of money off the back of it. What should I do? What would you tell him?
I would have advised him to set up... He probably has got a Tony Blair Foundation, and I would have made him put his other earnings into that. Take the money from the book, right? Leave that as your income. But your other income, your speeches, your public engagements, whatever, put that money in. So equate the money coming in, do it differently. Then it won't look so PR-ish. And that's why he's in this backlash situation now.
It's a very bad PR move in that respect.
Eric, let's have somebody else as well.
OK, Shell, what do you think?
I just think just focus on the positive. £5 million. It's a good thing.
If it helps him sell books and if it helps him sleep easier at night, it's not doing much for the people of Iraq. Should I just ignore that tiny issue, the 100,000 people that died, 110,000 people?
No, but, you know, I'm just going to focus on the positive.
OK, and one more. Let's have the person behind you there, Eric, with the glasses there.
Hello.
I think it's good that he's going to charity, but he shouldn't have done it that way. He should have, done what this man said, like donated it from his normal money.
Do you think it will help him sell more books?
Yes, I do, because it's good, as the panel said, it's got lots of like publicity from it, so now everyone knows about it.
Well, there was the big story last week that when he does his book signing, that shy retiring figure Tony Blair out there in Waterstones doing his book signing, that the £100,000 it's going to cost him police protection, we're paying for.
Yeah.
This is a private engagement. I just think Britain's got to wake up sometimes. I really do. I just
He's not
can't.
paying for his security out of his 20 million that he's earned.
No, we're paying £100,000. We pay.
That's annoyed me. That's annoyed me. Ooh.
That one because
Still, can't wait for Gordon Brown's book to come out. Who? Yeah. How I screwed it up.